We are back on Inside Politics. Our guest today, two members of the Metro Council at Large members, Bob Mendes and Sharon Hurt. You guys both served in the last council and this one. The big thing that's happened in this council has been not long after you got in, the COVID hit. How difficult did that make it for y'all to do your business? Did you have to do it remotely? There are lots of other issues that came up as well during that time. Did you deal with it well? Have things now started to get better?
I think they're getting better. Now, the one thing that we did do was had too long of meetings. I mean, you know, we went to 5:40 a.m. with that COVID, so I think people got a little bit comfortable with that because they were in their homes. But I do think things are getting better, and it's easier for us to communicate and work with the departments as we need to in order to do the things that are necessary to push through it.
Bob, it came in that first year, and I don't think this council at that time was able to come together and mesh because they weren't around each other. They didn't know each other.
Yeah, you know, because of public meetings laws from the state, we're not supposed to deliberate outside of public meetings. And so the hours we spend together going to committee meetings and being around each other in a chamber, it's a lot easier to find common ground when you can actually talk to people face to face.
Sharon, you also served in the last council and in this one, and I guess this council will always be remembered for being the first that had the gender equity, right. 50% women, 50% men. How has that made a difference in this council from what you've seen before?
Well, I think that they are listening to the needs of the people, having more compassion and understanding that, and it not just being business, politics, but making sure that we serve our constituency and make sure that we're doing things that are just like the schools, making sure that our students have the things that they need and not just looking at the bottom line and the dollar, although that's important. But I think that we also got to make sure that our constituents know that their voices are heard and we're doing things in order to empower them as well.
I want to ask you both this next question. Both of you are term limited. You can't run to seek your office again next year when the city elections are held. What's the future hold for you, Bob Mendes, politically, now that you can't be in the, at least you can't be in the current situation in the council? Well,
so I am term limited, and I don't think that I'll be running for anything in 2023. You know, it's been great being in office. It is great being in office. I think there's a thirst in the city still, a feeling that we're not quite on the right track, and I think the mayor's going to have a problem with that next year. That said, you know, he's the incumbent. He's in a pretty strong position. I expect him to get a strong challenge, but for me and my family, we're going to have to find a new way for me to serve the city.
Sharon, what's the future hold for you?
Well, that's the same for me. You know, I've been a servant leader for a quarter of a century, and I will continue to do that. So I'm weighing out the options, seeing what's best for me and which way should I go from here. But you can believe that my intent is to continue to serve the people of this city.
Is Nashville looking at its best years ahead, or are we still struggling, perhaps failing in some areas, perhaps like affordable housing, to keep up with and deal with the continued and unprecedented growth the city's experiencing? Bob?
I mean, I'm optimistic. I don't think there's a big city in America that wouldn't trade its problems for ours in a heartbeat. I mean, all our problems are around growth. We have real problems, real equity problems. We are chasing long-term residents out of the city with our growth. But these are a pretty good set of problems to have. And the only thing that gives me cause for concern is the radical interference at the state level is going to be a headwind that continues to be a problem for us.
And I would agree. I think that I'm optimistic about our future. People are excited to come and visit Nashville, and they want to live. You look at all of the people that are moving here now, and even though our taxes did increase, but it's still not as high as some of the other local regional cities, and definitely across this country. So it's still a very attractive place for people. It's still attractively located and geographically located for people, and I'm excited.
Bob, I mentioned affordable housing. That seems to be the one that has so many units we need to be building to get up to where we need to have. The council has approved quite a bit of money over the last couple of years to put that in there. Is that story getting told enough that at least the problem's being addressed? A lot of times you hear people complaining about it. They act like Metro's not doing anything about it.
Yeah, the mayor and the council have spent a lot of federal relief dollars on affordable housing. It's going to be interesting to see whether that sticks once the federal relief dollars run out.
Because it's one-time money.
Right. It's just, and so most of the new spending that's happened under this administration on affordable housing has been one-time money. And, you know, every $3 million worth of spending translates into 1 penny on your property tax rate. And so we'll see whether we keep up the spending.
Bob Mendes, thank you so much for being on the program. Sharon Hurt, thank you as well. Good luck with the rest of the year with the council. And it's always going to be an interesting time in the spring in the metro government.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us on Inside Politics. Hope you'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, you can go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. There's new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.